For those of you who I don't know, my name is Liz Willers. We're really glad to have you here. This is an inaugural college panel, and we hope to do this every year. Before we get into the agenda for tonight, I wanted to take this moment to introduce you to the inspiration for this evening, this event, and the inspiration to the Goldfinch Foundation. This is my son, Owen. Owen graduated last May from MBA. Owen was an artist. He was an athlete. He was a strong student, president of the Honor Council, but most importantly, Owen was a loyal friend. He was a loyal brother and son, and he was earnest, he was authentic, and he was one of the most compassionate people I've ever met. Owen had plans to attend Davidson College after graduation and wanted to become a psychologist. And Owen passed away unexpectedly last summer, just 2 weeks after graduation. Owen never made it to college, but in high school, despite his exterior that made it seem like he had everything together, he had struggles, perhaps like many of us in this room. ADHD, anxiety, he had a form of OCD called body dysmorphia disorder, and depression. Owen felt like he was the only one having to deal with all of these types of struggles. Despite being told otherwise, Owen, like many people who were successful in life, felt pressure to be perfect and to minimize his struggles. Our family founded the Goldfinch Foundation to carry on Owen's legacy and to honor his passion for helping others. Right now, our country is experiencing a mental health crisis of epic proportion. When we started the Goldfinch Foundation, we did not want to feed into this frenzy of negativity. We wanted to offer solutions. Sure, there are some things in life we cannot control, but there's so many things we can to live healthier, more balanced lives. We believe in empowering young people, and in the age of misinformation and disinformation, we wanted to connect young people to trusted resources like our panel today, to ask questions and to get reliable information that they need to make their own decisions. I'm a physician, and in 25 years of my medical practice, what I've noticed is how many of us focus, invest in, and obsess over our physical health, but fail to recognize that in order to optimize wellness, we have to focus on our mental health and social connection. You know, optimal health involves focusing on all aspects of well-being, and whether you have a mental illness or whether you don't, this wellness concept applies to every one of us in the room, and not just the teens or the young people. So the Goldfinch Foundation offers creative, community-based mental wellness experiences for young people, centered on science, nature, exercise, the arts, social connection, all the things that Owen loved, community. And although our target audience is 14 to 29, this concept applies to all ages. And I would love for you at the end of this evening, if you're interested in learning more or getting involved, to check out our website. So, why this event? So if you're a college student, you've undoubtedly been told that this is going to be the best 4 years of your life. And you probably haven't been told that sometimes there's this potential for loneliness, anxiety, eating disorders, and depression. And that's why we're here. We want to show you the real data and then offer some advice or solutions to live better and to allow you to know when it might be time to reach out for help. So I'm going to show you a little bit of data. So this data is from a book called The Anxious Generation, which a lot of adults in this room probably have read. Jonathan Haidt's book points out the rise in mental illness in our culture parallels the increased use of technology. So for example, if you can see in 2010, that's when Instagram rolled out. And you can see that right about that time, there's a sharp increase in anxiety and depression, and this is in college students. And some, when this book initially came out, there was this question, well, maybe this is just the young people of this generation, they're always kind of complaining of anxiety and depression. And the facts are that this parallels the objective evidence as well. So for example, this parallels suicide rates, ER visits for self-harm. So this is indisputable. So there's this really cool study called the Healthy Mind Study, and I highly recommend it. It's you can Google it, and it's really informative. And so it's conducted every year since 2007, and it's an annual national survey examining mental health and utilization of resources in college students and grad students. So, for example, last year, over 100,000 people were surveyed and responded, aged 18 to 29. Across the country, 200 colleges and universities were represented. What's interesting is that how many people had struggles. So 77% said mental health negatively impacted their schoolwork. 76 reported moderate to high stress. 49% felt lonely, and this was within the 2 weeks prior to responding to the survey. 13% had serious thoughts of suicide in the past year. So I share this because I want you to know not to be scared or fearful or this is such a downer, but it's when you go to college, you're not alone. You look around, people are still struggling, and you might not see it on the outside. And if you're lucky not to have any of these things, then you might want to recognize that there are people around you that are struggling as well. So this is also from the Healthy Mind Study. So 2/3 of those surveyed reported feeling a lack of companionship, feeling left out or isolated from others often. Anxiety, 34% felt moderate to severe anxiety, and this was graded by a validated tool that we use in medicine within the 2 weeks prior to the survey. Depression, 38%, moderate to severe depression. I already mentioned that 13% had suicidal ideations, but what was interesting to me is this: a quarter of responders reported non-suicidal self-injury, which means cutting, burning, scratching, pulling hair, biting, hitting yourself. 25% of adults. So I wanted to review these stats for a few reasons. One, you're not alone if you're experiencing some of these things in college. Two, if you're not struggling, that's great, but someone you know might be. And three, there are some things and steps you can take to educate yourself and to learn something about healthy coping skills that I hope you'll learn some tonight. So this is one of my favorite quotes for everything in life, really. So there's this mental health crisis going on right now, not only in our youth, but in everyone. But nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So real change takes action. And oftentimes these action can be very, very small changes. So for example, showing up to an event like this, calling a friend that pops in your mind that might be struggling, texting them. So I guess I want to commend you all for showing up, because what tells me is it means something to you. Mental health matters to you. And you showed up tonight. And I think you'll be glad you did. So tonight you're going to hear from students, one current student and one former college student who've lived through the ups and downs and are willing to share their stories with you. And you're going to hear some experts. They're going to help you decode like what's normal versus when should you really reach out. And I really would encourage you to ask questions, because if you're thinking of something in your head and you're like embarrassed to ask, I guarantee you there's at least one other person in this room that has the same question. So take advantage of these experts. Education, empowerment, and transparency. Before I get to introducing all the experts and the speakers, I just want to kind of give a shout out to a couple of vendors, I guess. One is Abby Goddard. So Abby is a rising senior at Ravenwood High School. She's the founder of, she's right there, Abby, raise your hand. So she'll be talking a little bit later. She founded Spiky, which is a discrete, customizable keychain equipped with clinical grade tests that detect common date rape drugs in seconds. They're very discreet, and Abby can show you some devices at one of the breaks. She created Spiky after her close family member was drugged and sexually assaulted in college. So I wanted her to be a part of this, although that's not necessarily mental health related. I thought that would be a really good resource for some of us in the audience to talk to Abby. Brian Shelton is also in the house. He's a lawyer, and he's going to answer some questions that might be related to college students, specifically about healthcare power of attorney. So if parents haven't filled that out before, if you expect to hear about your children if they land in the ER, I encourage you to talk to Brian Shelton about filling out some paperwork. I thought that'd be helpful. So before I go on to the introductions, I wanted to just do a thank you. Thank you to Montgomery Bell Academy, specifically Dr. Tim Boyd, Dr. William Daughtry, Elisabeth Bertani, Barry McAllister, and Jack Coleman. Barry is recording this because I have a lot of people outside of Tennessee that are really interested in this, session, and so we'll be able to get that on our website. Audrey Campbell, you can raise your hand. She's a summer intern with me at the Goldfinch Foundation. She's a rising junior at American University and has been really helpful at helping me with Instagram posts, curriculum, anything related in grant writing. So appreciate her. Teen ambassadors Charlie Willers, Fraser Head, and Ben Mantle have helped me a great deal with getting this together. So thank you guys. Jackson and Izzy Apelt, who will be speaking in a minute, and our medical panel, so all volunteering their time to answer any question you might have. So I'm 3 minutes at a time, which is cool. So we're gonna allow Jackson and Izzy to come up, and then we'll have the large Q&A, and then we'll break. So with that, if you guys wanna come up. So Jackson is a second-year medical student at Vanderbilt. He has a degree in translational medicine from UVA. When he was at UVA, Jackson helped form the first peer-based socio-emotional developmental course offered to UVA students entitled Resilience and Authenticity for the Young Adult. Since then, he has co-founded a program called Ready, which I'm sure he'll tell you about, and he's had 8 years of experience as a coach, tutor, and he's also been on 2 national championship lacrosse teams. Izzy is a rising sophomore at Georgetown University, where she studies government and economics and plans to do pre-law. She's also a member of the women's lacrosse team, also serves as a facilitator for Ready and the peer coaching program, and just super excited and grateful for you guys to participate and share your stories.